Hey, good morning. It's Dr. Bob Flower, and this is Wednesday, June 26th, um, the Achievement Forum. All right, today I want to speak to you about something that's I think very important to almost every one of us, and that is the notion of fear. Right? Fear is of the four great restrictors that I talk about in my books, namely fear, ego, ignorance, and deception or self-deception. Fear is probably one of the greatest ones, and the reason for that is because of the notion and the setup of our subconscious mind. Subconscious mind has certain rules and principles that it functions by, and they're absolute. They can't be changed. The subconscious mind, in many ways, rules our life. And one of the factors that generates fear is misinformation, and another one is improper beliefs and images. Okay, and here's what happens. The reason why we get all stressed out and pressured in our lives is because the subconscious mind processes information in a way that it has defense mechanisms built in, just like we have physical defense mechanisms within our body. Well, these are emotional and mental mechanisms that the subconscious mind perceives as things that that are harmful to us. Okay, so for instance, the ego. All right, what happens is you have this image of yourself, and you may not even realize what that image is, but it maybe you don't have a significant personal worth. Okay, as an example. What then happens is that anything that starts to develop in your life on a conscious level that may threaten that self-worth is going to send out an emotion to you. It's going to send out a pressure, all right, a stress. And then all sorts of things start to happen. So consequently, and simply enough, if one changes their image of the way they feed their subconscious mind, they will then eliminate stress. Now, one of the biggest things is this whole defense mechanism that people are, they're not open to criticism. They're very staid and not welcome, and do not welcome change. They do not accept constructive criticism or criticism as such. And one of the things that I try to do, and I try to teach whoever, my family, whatever, is to take any kind of criticism, even insults, as constructive. Because when you don't, it's a lack of emotional intelligence, right? And it's a lack of conceptual intelligence. You're putting a value on yourself that is not necessary, because who cares except for you? And the idea is not to be insensitive to people, but to engage people so that we are sort of like messengers for each other, and even in a negative fashion. So if somebody comes up to me and insults me, before, many years ago, I would probably have laid them out, but now it's a matter of accepting that as to the source it's coming from, and if there's any validity to it, without engaging my emotion. Now, if I do get emotional about it, that means that there's a truth there that I'm not dealing with. Right? And I then have to look at that and change my image of myself so that this stress or pressure that's being generated is dealt with, and consequently, the fear that we walk around with that, I'm going to be perceived as this or that, or self-worth, or what have you, or not being accepted by people, becomes false, and it I don't want to say it evaporates, but it declines in its significance in your life. Okay? Think about that, try that. I'm putting together a white paper on fear and change, and you'll be able to see that within the next couple of weeks on our website, www.bobflower.com. Have a good week. Fear not, fear not.